Okay, let me also hit the record button because I'm also notorious for forgetting that. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Instagram. Hi, everyone.
Technology for you. It always happens. Are we good?
Hold on. That's me with the feedback, of course, because I left the window open. Okay. All right. I think I got this. All right. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. Usually we host these kinds of calls privately in a private Facebook setting. We send out invites and links, and anyone that wants to know more about coaching chooses to be in this group, and we share with them with like all these fancy PowerPoints and all these fancy videos what we do as coaches. But here's the thing. We just want to talk to you straight tonight. Like the three of us just came back from an epic leadership retreat in Arizona. We each have respectively been in the business about the same time, each achieved the ability to come home and build this business from home, retiring ourselves from our full-time jobs a few years back. And I said, you know, we need just to talk to people straightforward about what this is about. People need to hear about coaching. They need to hear our story, and they just need to look at our faces. These are three faces, although Melissa's all dark. She's in California, by the way. She's like telling me I'm trying to beat the fact that they're going to cut the power soon. I guess there's things going on over there in California. But these are faces of women that have achieved success through Beachbody Coaching, whose lives have changed drastically because of the coaching opportunity. And it's, you know, we talk about this all the time. If you follow any of the three of us, it's more than a shake. It's more than a workout. It's more than a paycheck. It's so much more. And we're part of something bigger than all three of us. And we know for certainty that there are people out there that need what we have. So tonight, laid back, like I'm legit in my pajamas. I know, like one just came back from football, another one, I think two football moms actually just walking through the door. We're laid back approach to talk to you guys about our stories, how we landed in the coaching business, a couple of our struggles or what we've had to face along the way, and then just straight up the who coaches are, what we do, how we do it, and my girl Aimee, who was just inducted into the Millions Club not too long ago, how we earn, because I think that's the biggest thing that people want to know about, how this opportunity can serve them. So you probably read our caption. Our caption read something to the effect of, and I'm like reading off the top of my head, but it said one of us beat bankruptcy and a divorce and is a recent inductee into the Million Club. One of us faces, pretty intense medical issues and has recently found sobriety and is living a whole different life because of coaching. And one of us was at one point, a super hopeless mom with a sick baby who decided to turn around and make it her power and changed her life through the coaching opportunity. I'm number three. I'm that helpless mom. And I want to share with you guys my story tonight because somewhere along the way, it'll resonate with you, hopefully, and if not from me, from one of the other girls. But I'm also going to talk to you about a couple of the myths that I think just like surround the coaching opportunity and what this is about. I think oftentimes there's myths and then there's also like complete misconceptions. So I'm gonna debunk those, burst those bubbles. And then I'm also going to share with you what it looks like to be a coach every day. Like what are the actions, what we call the vital behaviors of a coach every single day, and what tools you're going to have at your fingertips if you decide to kick off this business and become a coach. So first, let me share with you guys my story. Monica Lopez here, by the way. Monica Lopez, 35 years old, from Miami, Florida. I'm a mother of three and married to my absolute best friend. We've been together 16 years, I think, and married for 10. We did everything ass backwards, got together, moved in 2 months after knowing each other, had the baby, then got married. But it worked for us. It's worked for us. And he's my absolute best friend. I'll tell you that before going into all my adulthood, as a child, I grew up really overweight. And I struggled with weight all my life. And I struggled with self-confidence. And I struggled with fitting in. And I struggled with loving myself. And it was at the age of 14 that I discovered the gym because of a weight training class, because I was either weight training or ballet. And I'm like, okay, screw the leotard. I'm sick and tired of having to put that thing on in front of people. And I picked weight training with most of the guys. But that's where I learned the power of physical fitness, nutrition, because the football coach taught me a lot about eating right for the work that I was putting in the gym. And it was at that age that I got my very first job By the way, I'm going to date myself. Eckerd's. Remember Eckerd's? That was my first job. I worked behind the counter. And I literally worked to pay a gym membership and to ride the bus every day, which was like a 4-hour total commute to go to the gym and come back home. But that's how much I loved fitness. Not that I loved the fitness, I loved the power, the way it empowered me, how it just changed me from the inside out. And in my high school years went from being, in the middle school, like I said, self-conscious and all that kind of stuff, to feeling good about myself in my high school years. And that changes everything, right? That changes everything. Fast forward into becoming a mom at the young age of 21. Like I told you, we did everything ass backwards, got pregnant before we even had bought in our very first home. I was young, dumb, and instead of eating for 2, I ate for like 10. And I put on a whopping 80 pounds. I ended up with diastasis recti postpartum. And to lose the weight after the baby, I did all of the most stupidest things in the world. I took laxatives one time, even like nearly passing out because I was like on a 500 calorie diet and then taking laxatives. So stupid and embarrassing. I used to take these pills that said that they'd remove all the fat from your body, and I believed it. And I would just like go poop oil. I don't even know. I think the pills are just oil pills. Like just the stupidest things. I did them. And I'm saying this because I know that there are women out there that are doing the most not smart things because they're desperate. They want change and they just don't know where to look. They don't know where to go. I've been there, okay? I've been there. And it took me almost 4 years to have my second baby because I was so afraid of going through that again, okay? Fast forward to that second baby. By that time, I'm working as a paralegal law firm. I have my baby, and my boss at the time had just had her baby 3 months before me. Now, she came back into the office after having her baby, and it seemed like extra pep in her step. Like while I was like with these big old bags in my eyes, trying to figure out how to get this baby to sleep, juggling a mom of 2. She was also now a newly mom of 2. Pep in her step, dropping the weight every day, walking in with like this shaker cup. And I'm like, what is she doing? Like, what is this thing that she's doing? And like what organically happens with Beachbody, one day I was hitting my rock bottom as a mom, just exhausted, 5 watered down versions of myself, just done. I opened up her office door, and I walked in and I said, tell me what you are doing. What you're doing, whatever you've got, I need. And that's when I got my hands on my very first workout program. I wish I could tell you I was smart and did the workout program and Shakeology, got amazing results, but I didn't. I was hard-headed. I was like so adamant, I don't need the shake. I'll be fine. I got nutrition down packed. I tried to do a program, barely made it through, and then I rewind, did the right way, got the shake, got the program, followed the nutrition plan, and got epic results. That then snowballed into me becoming a coach. Now, at first, also, guys, if you're on this call right now and you're thinking to yourself, like, I'll do the workouts, I'll drink the shake, I want to get results. I believe you, Monica. I've seen the results coming from your team, but I just don't want to be a coach. I'll tell you that I was in that same boat as well. I said that as well. It took my coach almost 7 months to get me to sign up as a coach, even though I knew she would tell me all the time, you could save money. What are you doing? But I just wanted nothing to do with it. I was just super close-minded. But when people started noticing my results, and it was like a 4th of July barbecue, I remember that I was getting some of these questions. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just give this a shot. Maybe I should try. What I didn't realize is that becoming a coach heightened my accountability. Like now all of a sudden, like you really got to keep doing this damn thing, Monica, because now you just went out there, signed somebody up, became a coach, now you're talking about it, and now you got to be the part, right? And it was a really beautiful cycle because all of a sudden I started taking my fitness even more serious, right? Got in the best shape ever. And I was starting to see that little side gig income come in. Nothing serious, but a side gig income that I was super happy about. Paid for Target runs, paid for groceries, paid for all the small little things off on the side, including the cost of my Shakeology, my programs, and all that kind of stuff. All right, I'm going to fast forward you guys a little bit more because sometimes, by the way, disclaimer here, sometimes Beachbody works a little too well and you get pregnant without meaning to. That's what happened to me. And all of this craziness, best shape of my life, feeling great, got this little side hustle, like I'm on top of the world, and then it's like, oh, guess what, Monica, you're pregnant again. Love my daughter. Love my daughter. She's the best thing that ever happened, but I was not expecting her, right? It wasn't something we were planning for. And I said to myself, okay, well, at this point I was a coach, mostly retailing, not building a team whatsoever. And I said to myself, cool, now I'm going to go on this mission. I'm going to show the world that a mom of 3 can lead a healthy pregnancy through Beachbody, can prove to the world you're not handicapped, can prove to women out there that you don't have to gain those 80 pounds and then suffer afterwards trying to lose weight, that I had this solution. I had this postpartum project that I was going to come out the gates with after I had my daughter, Mia. I have to give you guys a long, drawn out, long 6 months worth of a story. But when my daughter was born, about 3 or 4 weeks after she was born, it was, by the way, the first maternity leave that I could afford to stay home with my babies. I have 3 babies, and I never got to stay home. I always had to go back to work right after my C-section would heal because we needed the money. Mia was the first one, because of Beachbody, that I was able to enjoy the 3 months home with her. Except week 4, we find out I noticed something really off with her eye. Every time she would cry, one of her eyes would get super swollen, kind of shut, black and blue. And, you know, guys, if you're mom of multiples, baby number 1, you're like, bring it out. Baby number 2, you're like, oh, you know, maybe. By baby number 3, you're like, you're already diagnosing the baby yourself. You're like, yeah, it'll be fine. Luckily, my motherly instinct kicked in by the morning of one of these episodes of her eye swelling. I just looked at my husband. I'm like, something's not right. Just don't feel right about this. Thought it was a clogged tear duct. I'm like, something is not right. Took her to the doctor, and I'll never forget this. The pediatrician took like 5 minutes looking at her and said, Mom, I think your daughter has what's called a hemangioma. It's a benign tumor, but from the looks of it, it is growing in the inside of her body, not the outside, which makes it extremely dangerous. It is possibly affecting her eye. I need you to go right away to Miami Children's Hospital and go see this specialist, like right then and there. Got in the car, drove straight to the hospital. My gosh, I didn't expect what was going to happen from that moment 6 months down the line. It turns out Mia did have a hemangioma, and a pretty big one. It's a blood tumor that is fed every time blood shoots up to her head. And so every time a baby would cry, what happens? Like the blood. And this tumor was growing at a rapid pace. It was intertwined in all of her eye muscles. It was intertwined in all of her nerves. It told me, Mom, surgery is off the table because for certain we're going to nick something and leave your daughter blind in that eye. I'm going to give you guys the short version of this, but the only treatment they had for my daughter was something that was not FDA approved, was still experimental, and was only discovered 3 years before Mia's hemangioma. And that's because a young boy who had a heart murmur and a hemangioma took a certain medication, and by coincidence, they noticed that the tumor was shrinking. And this was the plan they had for my daughter. It worked. I can tell you guys it worked. My daughter and her beautiful blue eyes are perfectly fine these days. But guys, that was the moment that everything changed for me. Because I was a helpless mother. By month 3, I had to go back to work. I felt like such a helpless mom having to speak to my child's doctor through a speakerphone of a phone. I'd have to send my sister, my mom, my husband sometimes. My husband will call me frustrated. The baby won't stop crying. I don't know what to do, and having to deal with this through my cubicle because I needed to bring home a paycheck, right? My income at home was always 50-50 in our house, and I needed to bring home a paycheck. This enraged me. As a mom, it enraged me. It just made me feel like this can never happen to me again. And it was at that moment that I started looking at my Beachbody side hustle for fun, little extra cash, part-time gig in a whole other light. And I vowed it from that moment. I'm like, I am going to go all the way on this business. I knew it was possible because I was seeing people around me, but I kept thinking it wasn't for me until I needed it to be for me. I needed it to be my solution to coming home to never feeling that way. And today it's still what drives me. I can revert back and close my eyes and revert back to what that felt like. And I'm like, oh, heck no, I don't ever want to go back to feeling like that again. And that's my story. That is where my business, then I tractioned my business. I was focused and I knew exactly what I wanted. Now, it's not overnight success, guys. It takes a lot of hard work. Beachbody does not guarantee any sort of success, but I can tell you from that point, that was in 2013, that I retired myself as a paralegal and came home to work this business full time, I have achieved tremendous things with a lot of hard work. And tonight, what I want to share with you guys is first, debunk a couple of the things that people think coaching is. Second, tell you about what are vital behaviors, what it is, what it does look like. And then third, I'm going to share with you a couple of the tools that you're going to have at your fingertips, just like I did when I started. Actually, you guys are going to have some more that I didn't have when I started, because they called me the dinosaur age, 8 years ago when I started this thing. But I want to paint the picture for you tonight on what it takes. Because while this business is not, it's simple. It's a simple concept. It's something, it does take a lot of focus, a lot of hard work, determination, and just straight up grit. It takes grit and wanting it and being in that place. And you're going to hear from the other girls where there's no plan B, C, or D. This is your A. This is where you're going. This is what you want. And let me tell you, in the spectrum of coaches, there are people that are Monica just wanting to feel better about herself and maybe earn a part-time income. And that's completely okay. That's cool. I'm talking to you too, because I want you to know what is in front of you. And at one point in my life, $200 bridged a gap in my home. And that could be you. All right. So let's quickly talk about a couple of the myths that I'm going to debunk for you guys. Number one, do I have to be on my goal weight? Absolutely not. Shit. If I showed you guys my before picture when I started, nowhere near my goal weight. But I signed up anyway. And I was like, well, I signed up for the discount, got the results, and then went full force into coaching, and then soon got pregnant. So goal weight, no. However, I will say, and I'm going to share like this analogy that my sister once shared that I absolutely loved. I truly believe that if you do this, not being on your goal weight, and you can literally get amazing results in 21 days. We've got a program for that. And by the way, 21 days a day fix. We've got a program for that. You can achieve results in 3 weeks. Carrying people through those 3 weeks is the biggest power you can have in this business. It's like saying having a movie and be able for people to watch that movie progress and see the end result. Like, that's super powerful. So goal weight, absolutely not a necessity. Number two, do I have to be a personal trainer or a nutritionist to kick off my business? Because do I need to know it all, And like that's a big no. In fact, I want you to understand that we are in collaboration with the best of the best. Right now, we just started a program. We just, a new super trainer just joined our family. His name is Amoila. No, I keep saying it right. Amala Caesar. He is an NBA trainer. Like, literally, celebrity trainer just joined our Beachbody family. And that is who our trainer is. We collab with the best of the best. We have Autumn Calabrese. If you don't know who she is, like, look her up. She is amazing. We've got people like, obviously, Sean T, Tony Horton, that's kicked off, back in the days when I started. We have Jericho McMatthews, Joel Freeman. I mean, check them out. For all my Latinas out there and Latinos, we've got Evie also Morales. I just said Evie Morales. She's the coach. Oh, my God. I just had a brain fart. What's her name? What's her name? Idalis. It's because her Instagram name is Evie. That's why she always trips me up. Idalis also joined us and has a program completely in Spanish. We've got it all. We are in collaboration with the best of the best. Same thing on the nutrition end. Autumn Calabrese has Portion Fix, which is the plan that has saved my life in a big way when it comes to the kitchen. And then we also have 2B Mindset, which is more based on the mindset and getting to the emotional eating and things like that. All right. So no, you don't need to be those things. That's not your role. Your role is not to be a nutritionist or a personal trainer. And then my absolute favorite, I know my friend Aimee Coppola is going to touch on this one. Is this a pyramid scheme? Guys, pyramid schemes are kind of illegal, so it ain't that, okay? Number one. Number two, I think what has a bad rap is a lot of multi-level marketing companies out there that, I'm going to be honest with you, I personally also was skeptical in the beginning. Here's what's different about Beachbody. First of all, we're revolutionizing the multi-level marketing business, right? The direct selling business. And I think what the biggest difference, sorry guys, my kid is trying to call me. One of the biggest difference about our business is that, first of all, we change lives. Like, we change lives in a big way. And I don't know any other products out there that change lives just like we do. Number two, it is not about going and then saying, I'm going to invest, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000, have like product coming out of my nose, like open up my kitchen cabinets, have Shakeology hitting me in the face because I'm starting a business. Like, no. You're going to get out there, you're going to get results, and you're going to inspire the next person to do the same for themselves. And to me, that was like, okay, okay, I can wrap my brain around that, right? I'm going to focus on me first. And that is organically going to turn into a really great business that has my heart, right? It's not transactional. I always say it, this business is not transactional, but it is relational. And that's a really beautiful thing. Okay. So no, this is it's not a pyramid scheme, and we'll get more into income when Aimee touches. Here's what it does look like. And we call them as coaches the vital behaviors. There are 4 of them. 1, we are proof the product works. Like I said, if you join our team, the first thing we're going to tell you is, okay, you got to push play every day. You got to drink your shake every day. If you're smart, you're going to drink your unicorn energized juice, and you're going to follow your meal plan. We are products of the product, because that is the foundation forevermore of our business. 2, we are not going to be afraid to share, connect, and invite with everybody. Like what we're doing right now, right? This is what we do. We pass on. We pay it forward. And I understand when I first came into the business, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to stay quiet about this until I get results. Biggest mistake. Don't do it. Come in here, share your story, right? Play your movie for everybody. Show them the beginning, the middle, and the end. And I promise you, not only is it going to be impactful, but it's going to be fulfilling for you. 3, we help people get results. So we're not the nutritionist. We're not the personal trainer, but we are the person that helps hold someone accountable, who is like their biggest cheerleader, who is in the trenches with them. So I tell my challengers all the time, I'm no different than you. Like I am right there in the trenches with you every day. I am right there battling, weekends and parties and holidays and trips and vacations. Like I do the same thing that you do. I'm just here to cheer you on and to promise you that I'm not stopping, right? That's what a coach does. And 4th, personal development. We are very, very heavily into working this muscle as much as we work this muscle. Like it's just as important. And as a coach, just like anything worthwhile, I told you guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is unedited, uncensored. Like we're giving you the real deal. It gets hard sometimes, just like anything good in life. It gets hard. But the way that we battle that is through personal development, constantly learning and growing ourselves, right? And what's really beautiful about this, because at first when I started coaching, I'm like, okay, that's for crazies. I was so wrong. It equips you for so many things in life. I use the personal development that I've learned in this business to mother my children. Like it is that important. And I've got like PD Queen on here as well. Both of these ladies, oh my gosh, wait until you hear from them. But it is a big deal in our business. And so that's what you're walking into. You're walking into a business that's going to start working on you first. Then you can turn around and pour into others. And a platform to be able to share your story and be your best possible version. So I'm going to cut it there. That gives you a glimpse into who coaches are. So I'm going to pass it on to my girl, Aimee. She's going to tell you a little bit more about her and how coaches earn. Take it away, girlfriend.
Hi there. I had all kinds of crazy things happening, and I'd walked in from football and my hair's in a sweaty bun, but we won, and it was the last game of the season, and it's the school that I worked so hard to be able to have my kids attend, and it's just amazing. Hi, Monica's Instagram. So here I am, also unedited and uncensored and unmade. But as Monica said, I'm a coach now for 7 years. I came to coaching, let's see here, different from Monica. I actually grew up, oops, you're still speaker. I grew up pretty athletic. I loved the gym. I was teaching step when I was 18 years old, back when it was a thing, although it made a comeback, just like scrunchies. They made a comeback. But I grew up athletic, and I grew up feeling really good and confident, and, never knew what I was doing fitness-wise. But I did, really enjoy, staying in shape and doing all the things. I got married. I had my children. I loved them to pieces. And somewhere along the way, I began doing accounting. I kind of worked myself up the ladder. I never did finish college. I actually went to school for theater and was trying to do theater in university and work to put myself through and all the things. And I started realizing, because I am a very hard worker, that I was making more money, with the career that I was falling into than a lot of the people that I was then at that point, a manager over, who had hospitality degrees and this and that and the other. So I, kind of decided to keep going the career track and worked my way up through accounting. Again, theater, accounting, total ends of the opposite ends of the spectrum. It's not something that I enjoyed, but it was something that I was good at. I was organized, I'm a hard worker. And so I could learn the things. I was resourceful. I learned how to do it. I would show up, I would do the work, and, got a great reputation and moved up the ranks. But it wasn't something I always would joke, but I was so serious. When I'd go to a party and people would say, so what do you do for a living? And I'd be like, accounting. And it was always like the buzzkill, like, like there's nothing else to say after that. What do you say after that? And I was always embarrassed about that, but also too, because I didn't care for it. I mean, it was great. But, what I've heard other people refer to it as, and I think it's such a great analogy, is you build yourself a 5-star prison, right? You work your way up and have this entire resume of, this particular career or all these years experience in a particular position. And then you're kind of like, well, I can't possibly leave my benefits. I can't possibly leave, my salary or my 2 weeks paid vacation. And you have this idea that you're kind of stuck there. So that's a piece of my story I don't talk about much. I don't even know where it came from, but I came to Beachbody after my daughter was born, and I was actually going back to my job, and I was laid off. And it was the day I was returning from maternity leave. And it was that wonderful 2007, 2008 period when all kinds of things were hitting the fan in all different markets and everything else. And we had already cut back to a skeleton crew. So, it wasn't a total shock, but it was, a surprise. And they were a beautiful company. It was a business decision. I don't hold that against them. But here I was with 13 years experience in accounting only, and jobless, and there was other financial things that were happening at that time, and our house was upside down all of a sudden. The housing market crashed. There was all kinds of things happening, and it was just like, whoa, where do we go from here? And so I was able to stay home with Angelina for a little bit because I was then collecting unemployment and just trying to figure out what are my next moves. And, lots of other things were happening in my marriage. Finances was not the reason, that we wound up divorced, but it certainly wasn't helping anything when you're under such financial strain. So it became to a point that I was just, surviving. I was doing everything I could to keep the lights on, to, to pull the, bank account as far negative as they could let me go, to pay for this and do this and move things around and Tetris with my finances just to try and make ends meet. And so if somebody would have asked me back then, hey, what's your goal? I would have looked at them like they were an idiot, because my goal was to make it to tomorrow. My goal was to keep putting on a happy face, because don't think that like my ego wasn't hurt here. My ego was on the floor. And what a blessing that was, because you get a nice dose of humble pie and you got nowhere to go but up. But I knew that I wasn't going to be in this place forever, because again, I knew I had confidence in my work ethic, but I also did not know what was going to happen. And I didn't know how to tell my kids, like, sorry, we don't have money for Christmas gifts. And this went on for a few years. And it was, again, something that I felt everything was out of control in my life. And I'm a bit of a control freak. So that was a very, very uncomfortable feeling for me. But I kept putting on that fake smile and telling myself, you know what, this is it. So you better figure it out and smile through it, because this is how your life is going to be. I really did believe that at the age of 33. And so, I went through the motions every day. And I felt awful, and I was cranky, and I would snap at my kids, and I would, just be this very upset person, which if you know anything about me, that's not me whatsoever. But I thought I was doing a favor, for my kids, just trying to hold everything together. So when I began coming through that, I started thinking, okay, you know what? I need to take care of something. I need to have control over something in my life. And at that point, I was 30 pounds overweight. A lot of times us moms martyr ourselves for our children, thinking that we're doing them, again, we think we're doing them a favor. No, I can't take 20, 30 minutes for myself. My kids need me to go, watch another show with them or do something else when you've already spent 21 hours with them and you're just cranky. Like, no, it's okay. And that's one of the things that I love helping moms understand, is that it's important. They need for you to take care of yourself. Because when I finally said enough is enough, and I had Sebastian, this was before iPhones, it was 7, 8 years ago, Sebastian with my little phone, or my little camera at the time, take my before picture. And I remember just looking at it and thinking, number one, I'm not going to show that to anybody ever. It's all over the internet. You can find it. I'm not going to show that to anybody ever. And who is this? And where did I go? And so when everything else was going out of control, I felt like, you know what, the one thing that I can control is whether I exercise and what I put in my mouth each day, nutritionally. And so I linked up with Beachbody. My coach, she had kids about the same age as mine. And I had kept saying, well, that's just how we look when we're a mom. We carry around these extra 30 pounds. But she debunked that. She's gorgeous, amazing, super fit. And so I kept seeing her get leaner and leaner. And so that's when I reached out to her and asked her, what was she doing? And she, guided me into my very first Beachbody program after, just like Monica, lots of skepticism. But within that first month, my first program was P90X2, which is one of our most tough programs in our library to date. And as I began doing that, though, it wasn't even a month in of a 90-day program that I began to feel something change inside of me. And it wasn't, I was seeing the changes in my fitness and my physique and that type thing, but there was something else changing. There was something that every time I had to modify the heck out of the program, but every time I was showing up and doing the workout, I thought, I can do hard things and I can do this. And it's not going to be perfect. It might be a little bit messy, but I can do this. And this began building my confidence. And this began reminding me who I am on the inside, right? While these changes are happening on the outside. So that was really an exciting time for me. And I decided, you know what, I might as well give this coaching thing a try. I had gone back to accounting at that point. I had gone back to school at that point because I decided that I needed to figure something else out. And I went and started doing all these things and decided I might as well throw coaching in on the side because I could use a couple, extra $100 a month or whatever it was going to provide for me. I don't know, but I know I'm a hard worker. So if somebody else can make it work, I can too. And I began, working in that first month. I heard about this amazing trip that they do every year. And every year they go somewhere different. It's called the Success Club trip. And that year in particular, though, they were going to Disney World. And this is something that you're, able to bring a guest. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to take my kids. At that point, they were 3 and 6 years old. And I just thought, if there's any way that I could earn this trip, I don't know what it takes, but I'm going to do it because I need to take my kids to Disney World. They need to know that there's a happy light at the end of this tunnel, right? And it was about the time that I was going through my divorce as well. And I filed bankruptcy. My home is in foreclosure, like all the things that you can think of, I was there. And I began working though. And I was having such amazing revelations, as melodramatic as that might sound, I was having such an amazing time with my own transformation with my health that, it was coming out of me like I couldn't help but tell other people. And of course, people are seeing the changes too and asking me as well. And so here I am telling people and saying, hey, you should do this with me. And, that's really what you do when you first become a coach, is tell people like, hey, let's link arms, let's do this together. It's super fun. You get together in a group, you start doing these things and challenging each other. And before you know it, everybody's on this, this natural high of progress. And it's not about perfection. It's about progressing. It's about being better today than you were yesterday. But from there, I was, able to work and work and work and earn that Success Club trip, which wound up being everything to me because I didn't even realize the income potential at the time. But aside from that, that gave me the opportunity to gift that trip to my kids that year for Christmas when there was not hardly anything to do, Christmas gifts or big fancy Christmas. I was able to go to the Disney store and ask them for some cards and put that under the tree for my kids as a gift from Santa. And we had the most amazing time that spring. And that is where I actually sat down at one of the meetings that they had before we were, getting ready to enjoy the parks. And I started realizing the income potential. And Monica briefly mentioned it earlier, but Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income. It really is based on the amount of effort that you put into this business and the results that you create with your clients and with your customers. And that is something that didn't intimidate me because I'm a hard worker. Like I love, being challenged. So when you tell me I can earn as much as I'm willing to, work for, game on, like, let's do this. So, from there, I began working, and I started realizing that, wait, you mean I could replace my accounting job with this? And at that same time, I was adjusting to this, single mom schedule of, working downtown in an attorney's office, doing the books there, and fighting downtown traffic to come out an hour later, sitting in traffic, picking up the kids from aftercare to come home to hurry up and, throw something on the table and do homework and throw them in the bath. And there was no time for enjoying. There was no time. This was not how I envisioned my life. And I knew that this was not how I was going to stay for long. And so I withheld as long as I needed to as I built this business. And again, I did this in small pockets because I didn't have time. I was going to school still. I was full-time working. I was figuring out the single mom life. But in small pockets of the day, I was able to really focus and dial in on saying, I'm building this because I'm going to do this full-time. And so, over time, I was able to, become a full-time coach, leave my accounting career far behind in the history books, which I was very thankful for, and, just really embrace everything that we have and create such an amazing team of women who have stories like, all of us that you're going to hear tonight, and some, professionals, some stay-at-home moms, all different ages, all different walks of life, all different backgrounds. Not everybody's as dramatic as mine, but sometimes people just want something fun, a hobby, but regardless, it's something that's available, and it's something that you create so much more than just finances. But for me, that was obviously the big life changer. And so over time, I was able to set goals, and I was able to teach others how to set goals, and I was able to finally dive into personal development, as Monica was mentioning. And I began really just taking back control of my life and really understanding that not only did I need to survive day to day, but I had the opportunity to thrive. And I have the opportunity to create whatever my brain can conceive. So back when I was stuck just surviving day to day, that's all my brain could conceive. So that's all I was going to do. But when I started opening up, as audacious, as far off as it sounded, when I started opening up my brain to the opportunities and the possibilities of, doubling my income as an accounting manager, or tripling my income as an accounting manager, or taking my kids on these amazing trips, or helping other women create six-figure incomes, or any of these things, like once I started opening that in my own head, it's like everything lined up. Everything showed me, like, this is how you do it. You want to put in the work? Here you go. And I love that work. So what better way to do it than through something that I just feel so passionate about, and helping women and helping moms who were in that same position as me. So Monica touched really quickly on the pyramid scheme. That, again, she said it's kind of illegal, and I think she was just being silly, but it is totally illegal. The FTC monitors that. Basically, a pyramid scheme, and guys always love this because I have a lot of husbands who are always like, isn't that a pyramid scheme? So I like to be really clear on it. A pyramid scheme is when somebody promises you something, and you give them money, and there's no exchange of services or goods. And that is illegal, and it is shut down. So that is not what this is. We provide programs, we provide support, we provide nutritional products. So it's an amazing, amazing company, one that, has been over 10 years, one of the top in the industry, and one that I'm very, very proud to be part of. How we earn as coaches is we have a few different ways. Just really quickly, we earn through retail. So that's when anybody buys anything from you, from your referral link, you get a 25% commission on that. Once you begin building a team of your own, I like to kind of give this analogy as to like a realtor. When a realtor becomes a broker and they open their own office and they begin bringing in other realtors to their office, they can always go sell a house and close on it themselves, but they also can earn, a percentage from whatever their team is producing. So same thing with this. You have the opportunity to always do retail sales, and then as well, you begin earning, as you build your team, bonuses on the sales that your team is making. So those are the two, biggest ways. Then you also have bonuses at leadership levels that you can earn from, and also the subscriptions to Beachbody On Demand. Beachbody On Demand is like crazy awesome. It's, like something that's ridiculously affordable for everybody for an entire year subscription, and you get almost like a 36% commission on that. So that's like even better, and that's like a no-brainer. Like, I don't know anybody who doesn't want that for $99 for the entire year. what? Yeah, in case you didn't know. So those are, the main ways that you earn income. We are paid weekly. We are paid by direct deposit. And it's not like you get paid in lipstick or anything like that. You get paid money, direct deposit every Thursday morning. And so again, this is something that we help train you on once you become a coach. You have to first get those first wins, right? You have to first start getting your friends and your family and anybody that might be interested, involved with you, your work partner in the cube next to you that always sees you eating things and they're like, what are you eating? And everybody wants to know, right? Fitness and health is something that is not ever going out of style. On the contrary, it's something that we're becoming more and more conscious of, thankfully. And that is one of my missions and my passions, and something that I'm allowed to do with Beachbody is help people really focus on preventative health. So that way they're not dealing with these, self-imposed diseases and sicknesses and things that, had they paid better attention to nutrition and fitness and, minimal things on a daily basis, they really compound over time and give you such amazing benefits. And so that's something that we get to help people, really understand and create a lifestyle around. And so this is something that's here long-term. Our company is very innovative. They're always coming out with something new as far as programs, as far as different nutrition stuff. It's amazing. Even our Shakeology, which is like the world's greatest shake. I love it. But it's all natural. There's no additives, no nothing in there. And they're even coming out with seasonal flavors with those now. So really fun. But I don't want to chat too much longer. I know Melissa has to run soon. So I'll be quiet now and pass it to Melissa.
So thank you guys. I'm so excited to be able to share my story. If at any time, Aimee, you can't hear me, let me know, like thumbs down or something. I live in Northern California, and number one, our internet is just funky, and California is doing this thing where they'll shut your power down, which just affects everything. If there is any type of high winds or high heat, it all goes with the wildfires that we've been experiencing. But I'm so excited to be here, you guys. I am just honored to be able to talk to you guys tonight and tell you how amazing this opportunity has been in my life. And these women I would not know without this opportunity, which is just the craziest thing, because it's brought so many incredible, phenomenal leaders who have become such great friends into my life. And you can be a part of this as well. So my journey started 5.5 years ago. I had been watching some women on social media that I, again, didn't know, just sharing their stories, and their lives were transforming, and they were getting in incredible shape, and they're taking these trips, and they were posting all this positive stuff. 3 of them were getting ready to walk away from their full-time jobs, and everything that they were sharing, I wanted in my life, and I didn't have in my life. I was a mom of 2 small children. I was looking to lose around 25 pounds because I had tried everything under the sun, like every diet pill that GNC had. I had tried those wraps that people offer online, cabbage soup diets, like everything, you name it, I had tried it. And I just was like losing the same 5 pounds. I felt anxious constantly. I was working between 45 and 55 hours a week. I would travel a ton for work, which meant I was really disengaged with my family. I would go all day, you guys, without like eating, because I thought that the less that you ate, the less you would weigh, which is totally a myth. If you're not eating, please eat. Like, stop skipping breakfast. It's doing horrible things to your metabolism. But I was literally surviving off of like candy bars that I would go next door to the grocery store for my work and buy, and Red Bulls. And on the way home, I would hit the fast food. And then when I got home, I would have a second dinner that my husband normally prepared, and like maybe get an hour with my 2 toddler boys. And I just felt like I was on this hamster wheel of life, and something needed to change. And I never came into this business because I wanted something else. I was 100% content with going to work for someone else for the rest of my life, because I didn't feel qualified to do anything else. I actually dropped out of high school 3 months into our senior year. I had ran just doing a lot of the wrong things in high school, which put me behind on credits. And I had one of my counselors at school that just said, like, it's not worth it for you. You should probably just drop out, which made me want to stay in. But I also fell into addiction at a very young age, had a lot of limiting beliefs, and I didn't feel worthy of anything more than climbing the corporate ladder. And honestly, guys, I felt good about that. Like, to me, I had done so many other things in my life that made me feel not like a good person, not worthy enough, not lovable, not like I would ever be successful. And so climbing the corporate ladder and getting sent to these leadership trainings and all these things and making an income for our family, it just felt good. Well, as soon as I joined, I started losing weight. My confidence started increasing. But what really sat different with me was that there was a community of women who were building each other up. And that's what you'll gain when you come into this, is you're just not joining the person that you sign up with and partner with. Like, you have a tribe of women who don't know you, and they're going to cheer you on, and they're going to lift you up, and they're going to celebrate you, and they are going to be champions in your life. And that's what I needed. And I will say that I've always had a really solid friend group. Like, I never lacked for friends. I never thought that women were catty and tried to distance myself from them. Like, I've always had great friends. But what was different with these women was that they were like pushing me for these goals that I didn't even know I wanted. And the more that I leaned in, the more that I wanted it. And the more time that I invested into this business, like, guys, I was working all those hours, and every little moment that I had, I wanted to work on Beachbody. I wanted to listen to personal development because it made me feel good. And then I'm not a natural person who just had, I didn't see the glass half full. I felt like I had crapped on life, and that crap was just going to keep happening, and then I had to just keep working hard to pull myself out of it. I also didn't talk about my crap because I didn't want anyone to know what that looked like. And this was creating an environment where I could 100% authentically be myself and start working on those internal issues. And what I learned along the way, you guys, is it wasn't really about the weight that I wanted to lose. The true transformation has happened on the inside. Yes, I've lost weight. Yes, I've built muscle. Yes, I went down dress sizes. But like, the internal transformation is far beyond that. So I'm going to give you guys the short version of my story because it is very long. But I was able to walk away from my full-time job at 15 months. Again, Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success. But I had just had my third baby unexpectedly. Like Monica said, Shakeology is this magic thing, and you start feeling confident, and boom, here comes another baby. And I realized I didn't want to send another baby to daycare, and that I had missed out on so much with my boys climbing the corporate ladder, and I felt empty inside, and I didn't feel fulfilled by my career anymore. And so long story short, I just started building a team and sharing this with anyone and everyone that would listen. And a month after I was home, I felt on top of the world. Like, if it was a Tuesday, I was drinking champagne. If it was a Thursday, we were celebrating rank advancements, I was drinking champagne or going and getting margaritas. Or I live in wine country, so drinking a bottle of wine. Like, that was just a normal thing for me. I love to celebrate. I felt good. I was in the best shape of my life. And I woke up one morning and I couldn't walk. And I chalked it up to tearing something in my knee at boot camp. And I went to the doctor and they said, oh yeah, you tore your meniscus. You're going to have to do physical therapy. And so I was like, okay. But a couple days went by and I knew something was wrong with my body, and I couldn't walk again. And the worst part is I went to get up in the morning and go to the bathroom, and I literally had to crawl from my bed to the toilet. And then when I pulled myself up, I remember breaking the toilet paper roll and having to call for my 5-year-old son to pull me off the toilet. Talk about humiliating. Like, that was such a hard thing for me. And I didn't know what was going on with my body, but I knew I couldn't get into my daughter's bedroom to pick her up. And she was like a 7-month-old baby. I had to depend on my 2 boys who were in elementary school to do this. And I had to advocate for myself. And within a couple of days, we figured out that I had rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease that attacks your immune system. And it was attacking my joints, and I was completely inflamed. They put me on medication, which gave me like a 15-pound weight gain, which frustrated the heck out of me. It also made me give mood swings. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to take this medication. I'm going to do this on my own. And so I did for about 6 months, and the weight wasn't necessarily falling off. My mindset wasn't necessarily changing. I was drinking a whole lot more. And I actually caused, I don't know if you guys can see, but I caused permanent damage in my right arm, which now no longer fully extends. It's very painful. I went through over a dozen different medications that just we haven't found something. But you know what I did? I leaned into this community and I started researching and seeing what other coaches were doing who had this same thing. And I dug into personal development and I started communicating with the girls on my team and telling them, like, I don't want to be like this. And I'd noticed for a while that my drinking had got really excessive, especially after my diagnosis. I absolutely struggled ever since I was a kid with addiction issues and alcoholism. But I know if it wasn't for this opportunity, I wouldn't have taken a hard look at where my drinking was and what it was doing, not only to me physically, but also in my family. Because my husband was like, why are you drinking on a Tuesday? And I would get frustrated at that question. Sorry, this is running a business from home. I have dogs here, kids doing homework, all the things. Stop. Gotta go. But I had a really scary moment when about a year, it was September 19th or September 18th of 2016. And I had blacked out, which was not uncommon for me. The more I drank, the more I blacked out. And it had gotten to the point where I couldn't even have a glass of wine or just a couple of beers to relax, where it didn't lead to a blackout. So if you've done any studying on alcoholism, or you have people who struggle with it in your family, or maybe you do, you know that alcoholism doesn't affect everyone the same way. And so I would wake up sometimes middle of the night, like Googling symptoms of an alcoholic. And I'd be like, okay, that's not me. That's absolutely not me. Like, I don't drink every day. I don't have the shakes. And I was justifying it. But I woke up from my last blackout on September 19th of 2019. And I just knew that I had this amazing business that I had built. And I had this incredible family who was supporting me in everything that I did. But I had this intense shame and anxiety around the decisions that I was making with my health. Because one of the reasons I wasn't taking the medication was because it had side effects of liver damage. And so I made a decision that I wasn't going to drink anymore. And I wasn't modeling for my kids what I wanted them, the memories that I wanted them to make. And I've now been sober for 3 years. And this business has, I need you to go. This business has allowed me to just really get clarity on what my purpose is and what I want for my children and what I want for our future. And now I get to help other people do that. And I absolutely do not think that everybody that comes onto our team needs to quit drinking, because I know that not everybody has a drinking problem. I just know that I did. And why I share all of those things with you guys, that I had rheumatoid arthritis, that I dropped out of high school and didn't feel successful, that I had those limiting beliefs, that I've struggled with addiction since I was young, is that we all have crap. And that this opportunity has given me a platform to feel like I'm not alone in it, number one. That I could take my mess and I could turn it into a message to serve others. And it's allowed me to really heal and get healthy from the inside out. And while we have amazing physical transformations, I mean, Monica and Aimee have gorgeous bodies, we also have these stories, right? And these victories that are off the scale, that we get to champion for one another, and we get to help each other and say, sis, bro, like, I don't know where you've been and what baggage you're carrying, but let me help you unload it, because you don't have to do this life alone. Like, we are not made to do this life alone. And that's the really incredible thing, is some people come in and they feel hopeless and they feel alone and they feel abandoned and they feel forgotten, or they don't feel supported as a spouse or in their family, like any of those things. And we have this amazing community that can give you that support and can help you change those things in your life that you're not happy with and start transforming. So if you're looking for a community that is going to lift you up, that's going to encourage you, that's going to support you, that's going to inspire you, that is going to help you in every area, financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, like, I promise you, this is it. This is it. I really think that Beachbody is the real deal. I bleed Beachbody Blue. I've been home with my kids. I have not had to ask for a doctor, like a day off for the doctor's visit, or my son's orthodontist, or sports practice, or any of those things in the past 4 years, because it's afforded me the ability to be home. Just like Monica said, we were a 2-income family. It was absolutely off the table with me coming home. Could we have survived on 1 income? Sure. but we wouldn't be able to do the things that we were able to do. We would constantly be checking our account saying, can we afford these groceries? We would not be planning trips to Disneyland or going on vacations. It just wasn't in our budget. So I don't know what you're going through or where you're at in your life, but I promise you, health and fitness is never going out of style, and everybody absolutely needs it. And I just encourage you just to ask the questions that are, the things that are holding you back, because I guarantee if we haven't had them, somebody in our team has had that same struggle or objection, and we can help you through that. So I do have to go. I have another call that I'm speaking on. Truly just an honor, you guys, be able to. And if you have a coach that invited you, number one, reach out and thank them, because this opportunity, it's a gift. Not because we want to push something down the road, because we know how life training, and even if it's just for the community, even if it's just to tone up or lose 5 pounds, or to be able to go on date nights or to pay off debt or whatever it is, we all have something different. I promise you, when you lean in, you'll find it here. We hope questions or below, or even so we can address them, because maybe somebody else has that. But thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to share our hearts with you, share what this business has blessed us with, and we'll talk to you soon.